Welcome to Casual Bias Rugby. This is the official match preview for the Boks taking on Argentina at the Highveld. I think it's at the Highveld. I'm not quite too sure, to be honest. But moving on, in this video, we'll be looking at a bit of the history between the two teams, like the past 5 games. Of course, we'll have a little bit of a match breakdown, comparing the two lineups against each other. And then, as I'm a gambling man, we'll have looking at some of the betting odds at the end of it, as well as have our official prediction for the game. Now, this is Casual Bias Rugby, and I'm wearing the green and gold, which means I am a bit biased towards us. Surprise, surprise. Anyway, if you like the video, remember to hit the button, subscribe to the channel. Anyway, let's get into it. Starting off with the history between the two teams. Looking at the last 5 fixtures, it's all been won by South Africa. And 2019 at Loftusversveld, 24-18 for South Africa in Port Elizabeth, 32-12 to South Africa. 2021 again at the Nelson Mandela Stadium in Port Elizabeth, 29-10 for South Africa. And then last year's 2 fixtures at Buenos Aires and Durban was 36-20 to South Africa, and then the final game of the championship, 21-38, also for South Africa. So the last 5 fixtures has all been favourable for the Boks. The last time that Argentina actually beat us was in Mendoza in 2018, where Argentina beat us 32-19, and that was when, that was right before the World Cup, when we had like a horror show of a period, like the forgettable period. And then before that was in 2016 in Salta, 26-24. So obviously, if you look at the history between the two teams, it's very favourable for South Africa, but they are never a walkover. You can't go into this game with certainty. Argentina always has that one game where they just show up, everyone for each other, physical, and really just blow you out of the water. Now, saying that and saying physical, we can't look past the fact that New Zealand absolutely dominated Argentina when it came to the physical battle. So let's look at the lineups between the two teams. Now, of course, I'm not going to be saying I'm a rugby guru. I don't know all of the players from Argentina. I don't follow their franchise leagues. But we chose our strongest first 3. Kitsy, Malcolm Marx, Frans Malherbe. I think they'll beat the Argentinian team when it comes to scrum time, the physical battle. I still feel we are the strongest forward pack in the world. Of course, Argentina known for their physicality, especially when they play in Argentina, when that passion and that desire comes out to win. But I struggle to see how they'll put up a battle against us, especially after struggling against New Zealand. New Zealand took a totally different game plan to beat Argentina in that first game, and that was the physical game, and that plays exactly into our hands. Of course, we went with a 5-3 split instead of the 6-2, which tells me we are looking to run the ball as well, get that backline moving. So, just wondering, what is our tactics going to be? Are we going to go for that expansive running game, but take some of the pressure away from the forwards? That's why we only went for the 5 guys. But we are stacked with utility backs or utility replacements as such. Eben Etzebeth, he's got a big game on his hand. Quiet game last week. Of course, we knew the circumstances around it. Marvin Orie deserves his start. I know a lot of people will have this say about him, but Marvin Orie was very, very good against Australia. I just feel he's a good jobber. He just does his job. No hesitation, plays hard, does his thing. Maybe not a standout. He won't give you like an 8-9 performance out of 10, but he's consistently like at your 6.5, 7 even. So Marvin Orie, no issues there. We have a very, very bad stat when it comes to lineouts this championship. He is a lineout general, so no issues with him starting. Very excited to see Marco van Staden, Pieter Steph de Tooy, Dwayne Vermeulen. There's a lot of fetchers in this team, especially if you look at our starting 15, just the fetchers alone. We got Malcolm Marx, Marco van Staden, Dwayne Vermeulen. You could even say Pieter Steph likes getting over the ball. And Kitsy also every now and again gets over the ball. So, it's going to be crucial for us to break that quick ruck speed that Argentina gets. Because we know if that ball's free or loose play, and they get that ball quickly out of the ruck. It's literally like trying to stop the Fiji Sevens team. Like, they just throw it around. It's crazy. It's havoc. And I think, like, even if you look at the game for us against New Zealand, as soon as that ball isn't into, like, system, it's just free ball, it's tough to defend because we shoot out of the line and our defense is just all over the place. So it's going to be crucial for us to disrupt that ruck ball, make it slow, get our system, get our defensive line in place. So, I mean, just looking at the forwards for Argentina, I don't know too many of these players. I mean, of course, Julian Montoya is absolutely brilliant. There's no Karevi on the bench, I just realized. Thomas Lavanini, usually like a guy that just gives away penalties wherever you look, but I mean, he's tightened his game up a bit. Pablo Matera, probably the best 6 in the Rugby Championship. Before the championship started, of course, Shannon Frizzell has been immense, and that's why he's taken that #1 spot. But I mean, Pablo Matera, absolute beast. Moving on to the back lines, before I move on to the back lines, just think about the forwards. It just feels like if I had to combine 15, it would be South Africa dominated. It's almost scary to see, but that just makes Argentina such big underdogs that they could be dangerous, because they're coming out for a win. They're coming for that second spot, because both of these teams still have the chance to win the championship, obviously, if the Wallabies was to pull off the upset of the century. I doubt it, but I mean, there's still something to play for. We'll know if we can still win it after the match in the morning between the Wallabies and New Zealand for the Bledisloe. Moving on to the back line, and I'm very happy to see Grant Williams with Manie Lebok. I think those two working with each other perfectly. Both attacking players, get that quick ruck ball, attack the gain line, get those passes in, get Damian Dialende, Jesse Creel into some open space, and then of course we have our finishers with Kurtley Arendse and Jason Colby right there on the wings to score the tries. Kurtley Arendse, I mean, I think the guy's got 10 tries in 8 games now, which is absolutely ridiculous. Willie Leroux in the 15 jersey. As I said in our lineups, I would have loved to have seen Willemse get that 15 role, not because I think he's better at 15 than Willie. I really do rate Willie. I think he's a very good player, does his job. But I just feel the impact for Willie from the bench would be absolutely insane rather than the impact from Willemse. But I still think Willemse could have a good impact. I just feel, that's just my personal opinion. Let me know what you think about it. I see Willie as getting better as the game goes on. But I mean, Willie interlinking with Manie Lebok, that is always a joy to watch. I mean, you never know who's going to be the first receiver. Moving on to Argentina, and to be honest, I don't know anyone here. Like, Santiago Carreras is a good 10, very good 10, but I can't say too much about him because I don't watch all the Argentinian games. That's why I said this is casual bias. So, yeah, just going straight on into the reserves. Erge Snyman keeps his spot on the bench. I really love this. Most people would have wanted to see him start, but I just think the impact that he brings from the bench is absolutely immense. Bongi Munambi is there. I would have loved to have seen Dweba there for his impact. Of course, Kwaga is just immense coming from the bench. One of the best, one of the most underrated players when it comes to impact from the bench. He should be there. He is there. Brilliant. And then, of course, Trevor making his return. Vincent Koch. No real issues there. Probably the 2 best guys we could have chosen if Ox wasn't available. Going on to the back or the replacement back line. Faf de Klerk, Lucanio Arm, Damian Willemse. I mean, that's a strong back line, or a strong reserve back line. Jeez, I'm falling over my words here. English isn't my first language. I would have loved to have seen Kobus Reinach get another go instead of Faf. I don't think Faf played a bad game necessarily against New Zealand, but I think Reinach was brilliant when he played against Australia. But I think Grant Williams deserved his start. So I just feel Grant Williams should have started and then Reinach on the bench. But I mean, you can't have issues with Faf. He started at such a high level that people are saying he's overrated and stuff. It's just, his game has dropped a bit, to be fair, but he's still brilliant. He's still a very, very good scrum half. Lucanio Arm, of course, Jesse Creel needs some game time. We can't go into the World Cup with injuries. Let's say Lucanio Arm gets injured and Jesse Creel has not played a single game. So I'm fine with Jesse playing. Of course, I would have loved to have seen Andre Estreisen again. But I mean, that was the coach's choice. They know much more about me, about rugby, about the team, everything. So Lucanio Arm on the bench. Just wondering how much time Jesse Kriel's going to get. Is he just there for safety measures, for in case? Damian Willemsen. Now, the question I have is for who's he getting subbed on? Is he coming on into that Manie Libbok slot because Andre Pollard has all these injury issues? Or is he going into that 15 role, but then we don't have backups for Willie really? We could slide in Cheslin onto fullback. We could even take off Willie, bring on Lucanio Arm. Lucanio Arm goes to one of the wings because he played well at the wings when we had all the injuries. And then Cheslin or Kirtley goes into 15. Very interesting. Let me know what you think about it. I think South Africa will go with a physical battle and then just knock it off, get some penalties, kick to the corner line, driving mauls. I mean, it's kind of the obvious game plan if you look at the way that Argentina struggled physically against Australia even and New Zealand. They got dominated by New Zealand. So I think just the game's going to be won up front with that penalties and stuff. And then, of course, when that loose ball comes, we'll just throw it to the back line, put some magic, get some magic from Manie Libbok, and then finishes from Kirtley Arendse and Jason Colby. That's the pretty obvious breakdown, if you could say it like that. Moving into the betting odds, and to be honest, I will stay away from this game. If you bet on South Africa, $100 on South Africa, just to win, you get $107 back. Whilst if you bet on Argentina to win, you get 9.4 times your money back. Now, of course, you could say Argentina always has the chance to win. They do like an upset, but they don't like upsets against South Africa. The only time they've beaten us in the past, 7-8 years, has been when they played in Argentina. So you get 9.4 times your money back. I don't think you're just going to lose your money there, in my opinion. You might say I'm biased, but what I do think is that it will be a closer game than people think. And that's why I do like the shout for Argentina plus 18.5. You could even say South Africa minus 18.5 if you feel it's going to be a blowout victory. If you say Argentina plus 18.5 on the handicaps, you get 1.9 times your money back. That's not bad. That's not a bad shout. Obviously, if you want to throw in handicaps for South Africa, like a minus 16, minus 14, you get 1.5 and 1.7 times your money back. But my official prediction will be South Africa to win it by 16. I'm feeling like 16. Just feel that the crowd will get us up on our feet. It's the final home game for a lot of our players, for the likes of Dwayne Vermeulen, Jock Nienaber, the coach. It's his final home game as well. So yeah, I just think our guys will be up for it, ready for the battle to take them on. Hope you enjoyed that. This is an interactive video, so leave your comments down below what you think about it. Of course, I'm sorry to all Argentinian fans. I do not know your squad too much. I do respect Argentina, of course, but it's going to be disrespectful if I talk too much about him and I just talk nonsense. Anyway, see you next time.